Welcome friends to the first installment of something I'm going to call Alcohol Audi C7 Owners. And this is going to be something that I do where I drink a beer and talk to you about something that's going on in the Audi C7 community. Might pertain to B8S4s and things like that with engine stuff, but for the most part it's going to be centered around Audi C7s and C7.5s obviously. And this will be a fun thing for me to just get information out to you guys. So this first installment is going to be about the new integrated engineering CREC engine tuning that they have released. This is really exciting stuff. So prior to last week, the early Gen 3.0T engines, the ones that are in the B8, B.5 S4s, obviously the pre-facelift C7s, that was the king when it came to the two different 3.0Ts. For those of you that might not know, 2015 and up C7.5, the facelift C7s, came with what we call a CREC engine or CIMO 16. And the biggest way you can tell the difference between these two is that the earlier 3.0Ts have a press-on supercharger pulley. The CREC engines have a 4-bolt bolt-on pulley. They were notoriously hard to crack for tuning and really get any decent results out of it. APR had a tune for a little while. It was cool, but one of the big things was if you went past just a stage 1 tune, so we're talking about software only, if you did any kind of pulley upgrade and went to a stage 2 single pulley or dual pulley, then it automatically kicked on your engine light when you tried to flash it back to stock software, and you'd get a TD1, they'd cancel your warranty. So that really sucked. That's still an issue, by the way, no matter what with those engines. And Audi's just notorious about checking stuff if you go to the wrong dealership about TD1ing your warranty. So be careful with that. But Integrated Engineering last week announced their stage 1 software for the CREC engines, and if I'm not mistaken, and I'll double check this and we'll have a link to their stuff in the description here, but stage 1 E85 506 horsepower. Now it's crank horsepower, but still stage 1 on E85. That's no bolt-ons if I'm not mistaken. That's just a tune and E85 gas. That is insane. For reference, dual pulley stage 2 early 3.0Ts were maybe 460 to 480 horsepower. So that's huge. I'm lucky enough to know a couple people that have been getting to beta test this and run it through the gambit with TCU tunes, including the integrated engineering TCU tune that they released as well, versus something like Burt Gird's or like an HP Tuners TCU tune for the ZF8. And it's really exciting stuff. The big difference between the CREC engine and the early TFI or 3.0Ts is that the CREC engine, there's some differences in the supercharger, but that's not where the magic happens. The magic is from the direct port injection that the engines have, that the earlier 3.0Ts do not have. That allows them to run E85. The earlier 3.0Ts, the most anybody's been able to do it with stock engine components, regards to fuel and whatnot, is E40. And I mean, that's still a significant bump, and you get a lot of really good results from that. But E85 is a whole other animal. So there are certain companies that are working on building direct port injection kits for the earlier 3.0Ts. I know Jay Bullington with JXB Performance is working with a company to come out with some direct port injection kits, if I'm not mistaken, and there's a couple other guys out there. Few people know about this. I think there's a few people running them, and they're having pretty good results. Fix my microphone here. But in any case, now Integrated Engineering with their tune has put the CREC engines on the map for the tuning community. I've already seen the B8S4 guys making posts in their group, pretty upset that that the C7.5s are faster than their cars just with a stage 1 tune in E85. I wouldn't be surprised to see people start trying to swap a CREC engine into the C7s, the pre-facelifts. Even I was like, good grief, maybe I'll look into that, but I'm gonna let someone who knows what they're doing take that endeavor before I do. But there's some pretty exciting stuff coming out with that engine. Some cautions here though, because I've seen a ton of people on Instagram be like, holy crap, I can go get it tuned. And they ran out, they flashed it, and they just basically just fill their tank with E85, and they just mix whatever regular 93 gas they had in there. And we're going to talk about why that's a bad idea after I have a sip of my beer. And by the way, tonight's beer is a Appalachian Mountain Brewery Longleaf IPA. If pine cones were alcohol. So anyways, so some cautions here. First thing, E85 is extremely corrosive. If you let it sit for a while, and your fuel lines aren't made for it, it can cause damage to your fueling system. So be very cautious about letting your car sit running just straight E85. Your stock fuel lines, which are on the side of the engine, cannot handle E85 in terms of like longevity without breaking down. So I highly suggest you check out a company like Fuel It or Quicker Racing. They both have kits for the 3OTs, and I think those will work on the C7.5, the facelift CREC engines. I highly suggest you upgrade your fueling line so that you don't have to deal with that. On top of that, I highly suggest you get an E-content analyzer to put in their inline so that you can tell exactly what your E85 mix is at all times. If you have a P3 gauge, they make an add-on that will allow you to check your E-content just by scrolling through your options. There's a kit that comes with an analyzer that's got a Bluetooth adapter that you just connect it to an app on your phone. You can bring up your phone anytime and check your E-content. At the bare minimum, there's a E-content app that you can download, and I'll show a screenshot over here, maybe over here somewhere. I'm going to show you a screenshot of what that looks like. And I suggest at the very minimum, you go to Fuel It, and you get their E-content testing kit. Something you can keep in the trunk of your car, and before you fill your car with E85, test it, make sure it is E85, make sure it's good to go, and then you can use the app to figure out exactly how many gallons you want to put into your car to get a mix. So, even if for you people that don't want to run E85, you want to run E40 or E60, you can use that app at the bare minimum. But even better, get an analyzer or something like that. I would love to start working with but there's only one gas station in my town that has an E85 pump, and it's a pain in the butt to get to, but maybe in the near future. I'm just focused on going dual pulley. So some restrictions with Integrated Engineering's CREC tune. Right now, the people I know that are beta testing, he's got a ported charger, if I'm not mistaken. He's got a 80mm throttle body upgrade, and he is dual pulley. I mean, he had a fast CREC as it was. He was trying to be the first 10-second CREC engine. He's got this now, and right now with the dual pulley tune and the TCU tune, he's getting an EPC light at the top end of his pulls because it's basically creating too much boost. And if I'm not explaining this correctly, I'll update in the description if anybody needs to correct me, but I'll keep this updated as much as I can. So the issue, what I'm gathering from people, is that the stock injectors cannot handle the fueling to keep up. So I would expect to see upgraded injectors coming out for the 3OTs for both engines more than likely here in the very near future. I also saw, I believe it was Quicker Racing, and they appear to be working on a low pressure fuel pump for fueling, which will apply to 3OTs and the twin turbo 4-cylinders for the S6 and RS6, the S and RS lines. So I don't know if that would help at all. I'm not sure, but that's something in the works there that's kind of exciting. It's great that these engines are, as old as they are, and people are still developing new stuff for them every single day. It's really, really exciting. So yeah, there's that. Going back to the E-content. If you get bad E85 gas and it's not fully E85, or you are trying to run E40 but you accidentally mix and then you get E60, E85, whatever, if you do that incorrectly, it can cause severe damage to your engine. It might just cause it to run like crap, but it can also break some stuff. I've seen a guy blow his engine from getting bad E85, and it just didn't end well for him. So that's why I'm telling you guys, I see a lot of you out there just running out there to the E85 pumps and just throwing gas in your car and trying to run this. E85 is a whole different animal, so please make sure you're doing your due diligence to make sure you're running it safely in your cars. If any of you have any questions about the CREC engine versus the early 3OTs, or if you have any questions about running E85 or any of those kits, please leave comments below. I'm going to leave some links here to Fuel It, Quicker Racing, so that you guys can check out those kits for the 3OTs. I don't know if their fuel line kits are designed for the C7.5s. I don't see why they wouldn't be, but at the same time, I would imagine with the introduction of the Integrated Engineering CREC software that you're probably going to see modifications and these things being offered to the facelift C7s. For you people out there that just got more money than God and just have nothing to do, I would love to see someone swap a CREC engine into a car that runs an early 3OT FSI. I would love to see what is entailed in doing that. I don't know if that just means swapping the engine with the supercharger and changing the wiring harness and the ECU, or if it means changing motor mounts, like the plate. I don't know. I don't know what's involved in that, but it would be really exciting to see something like that happen. So anyways, leave your comments below, questions below, and we will venture into the E85 journey with the CREC tunes, because I think we're going to see a lot of really exciting stuff, especially if they get the fueling issue and the boost issue fixed. I would not be surprised to see 650 horsepower CREC engines on a dual pulley throttle body tune. It's going to be just crazy seeing what these engines can do. So anyways, good job integrated engineering. It's really exciting stuff. Way to keep these cars on the map. And yeah, catch you guys on the next episode of Alcohol and Audi.